The opportunities that that we've had to come back to the United States, I think, with the kids after the build of the FJ49, it was never intended to be the build that it ended up being.
No.
Was it? So the FJ49 started off as such a small project, you know, just something that my son wanted to build, and you know, we supported him with that build, and it turned into a monster and turned into, I think, you know, one of the biggest projects that the company's ever done. So to get the invite from Toyota in the United States, you know, once again for the brand and the family to showcase our capabilities of what we're doing back down in Australia and bring the FJ49 out to SEMA, that's where this whole trip started.
Remember telling the boys?
Yeah, telling the boys that the you know, the car that they built with my team, and you know, the guys that have supported Patriot campers and put us on the worldwide stage, and to get that phone call from Toyota USA, you know, to bring that car over to SEMA, that's where this opportunity for us to be in the United States started.
Thank you, buddy.
That's big, Jack. That's huge. That's like probably the biggest thing that's ever going to happen to you guys in your career, ever. That is like the highlight of my career. That is the pinnacle of everything I've ever done, to get the worldwide recognition on all the hard work that you guys have put into this thing. Having the team here, you know, I wanted this to be a family moment. You will never ever forget it. You'll never forget the day you drove the car in the SEMA, dude.
Like after we got off that phone call, I think I put a hole through the ceiling of my office. I jumped that high, and the whole factory, the whole of the office heard me. You know, I was literally in my office screaming, jumping up and down.
It was a good moment.
I couldn't believe that this was going to happen, and we get the opportunity to bring, you know, 3 of our iconic builds out to the SEMA show. But
well, that's the thing. I mean, we've done it before, and we've been on a Patriot Campers booth.
Yeah.
And going to the biggest stand at SEMA and being featured right in the middle.
It was pretty.
Still feels like it hasn't happened.
Pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
We knew for maybe a couple of months about the SEMA deal before we even told the kids, didn't we?
Yeah, because we wanted to make sure that we had everything in place and that it was going to happen.
Yeah, I wanted to know 100%. So, you know, we were discussing it with Toyota, and we got the invite over, and I didn't believe it until the containers were actually booked. So it was only, you know, a couple of weeks before the containers arrived to load the cars up that we told the kids. It was 48 hours before we were due to leave, and I just, you know, your gut tells you sometimes that something's wrong, you know, and I was getting information on where the cars were at and where the containers were at. And I knew in my heart that something was up. So I took control of that, and I started making some phone calls, and I discovered pretty quickly that the cars weren't going to make it to the SEMA show, and there was...
Remember that feeling? Oof.
You just emailed her back, did you?
Yeah, I just went back to the same email to everybody, and I added my colleague. See if there's any way they can get these off on the 30th.
Oh my God.
I know, it's cutting it super ugly close.
Yeah, it's like 9 hours, and I've got to get them into the show.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, so we're screwed.
Like Laura said, that one isn't supposed to even start until the 30th, so you'll never have that in Vegas by the 30th.
And it wasn't about, look, it wasn't about the brand, it wasn't about us missing SEMA, it wasn't really about the disappointment of making that phone call to Toyota. It was, there was no way, the kids were going to miss that opportunity.
No, and it was all about the kids, you know.
It was all about the kids, and you know, to have to tell the kids that, you know, sorry, SEMA's not going to happen. It just wasn't an option. It wasn't a thought in my mind. So,
can you actually return that? I don't care what it costs, mate. Like, I don't care.
No, I understand.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Can you actually throw that at her? Is there any opportunity to pay somebody to do something?
We did everything we could, and I pulled out, you know, all stops, and we worked as hard as we possibly could, and we didn't take no for an answer, and we met some amazing people, amazing people. I
can't believe how helpful everyone was on that journey. I mean, what was that? That was like 3 days of hell.
Yeah, absolute
hell.
torture. It was just torture, and I think everybody that we spoke to, they could hear it in my voice, and you know, the guys in the United States and you know, the team back in Australia, everybody did everything that they could, and we pulled off a miracle, and we got the cars to the show on time.
Container number 1, I can't believe it. I can't believe we pulled this off. Main freight, Susan, Jade back at home, my whole team back at home, guys, Ron from Impact Transport. You'll never know what this means to us and the whole team here. We've made it. We're going to SEMA. We're going to get these 2 kids down to SEMA. We're going to hit the road, LA. We're still missing another box.
Yeah,
but the
trucks. We need one more. I bet at least we got
need one more box.
We got half.
But the Mega 6 is now in the United States. We did it. You all ready? Made it to Vegas, y'all.
Once we got into Vegas and everything kind of settled, the cars were bumped in, and then that red carpet moment, going out there, just watching the boys, they're lined up with their car, about to do that red carpet run that you did, that we talk about all the time. I will never forget that memory. Like, and the confidence that they had. They were so proud of what they had done, and seeing them up on that stage, it's just a memory that will always be there, and I think that'll be the new story that we'll be telling.
The reaction to the Patriot Campers brand in the United States, we've always been so welcome here in this country, haven't we?
Yep.
You know, I think from the first trade show that we did, when, you know, you look back at the kids coming over, you know, in that first season of Patriot Games, the twins coming over with me, and you know, we were a small company at that stage, and you know, with big dreams, big aspirations of just getting our product into the United States, and not for the glory of Patriot Campers being in the US. I think it was more for, you know, for our self-satisfaction, knowing that we have the best product in the world in our market as far as we're concerned, and we wanted to share that with the United States. So the twins were with me right from the very, very start, you know. The first trip to the United States, they were just young little kids driving across the country in that 40-foot
It's all going
gooseneck.
through my head.
You know, going to the trade shows, and from that very first trade show, you know, we opened the doors on the first morning of the first trade show, and the United States is just, they've always received us. So at SEMA, you know, the 3 trucks there, and you know, we felt like part of the Toyota family, you know, during that show, and the crowds coming in and the public perception of, you know, what we were doing here and what we've achieved, and you know, the US has just been so welcoming for us, and that's the reason we keep coming back, and we're putting the effort into what we're doing here in the US. And
it's also positive.
It's everything here in this country is positive as far as the Patriot Campers brand is concerned, whether it's trucks or camper trailers or the lifestyle that we promote. And SEMA, it didn't disappoint at all. It was just, I was on a high that entire show, and you could see with the kids, you know, at the end of every day, your feet are killing you and you're stuffed, and you know, your voice is gone, and you got blisters all over your toes, and the kids they didn't want to leave. You know, we were there from opening in the morning till the show closed at night.
I feel like they grew up a lot over that couple of days. Like, I definitely saw it in the boys.
Yeah, 100%.
You would have as well. Like, the confidence, the way they even held themselves, I think that reassurance from everyone on how amazing their build was and the job that they had done, and I've never seen them hold their shoulders higher. And
their interactions with people, you know, you're right. That's, you know, the maturity that they've shown and the way that they've developed over this short amount of time in the United States. You know, the boys are gone. They're full on men.
Yeah.
You know. I think for the United States, you know, the United States definitely has a top 10 list, or it has, you know, bucket list when it comes to overlanding, and where else is more famous than the Mojave Desert?
Yeah.
You know, so for us to get
Well,
out
we were
and,
so close.
and
so.
stop number one,
Yeah.
you know, the Mojave, you know, the perception is that they're show cars, and we built them as show cars. And that couldn't be further from the truth. You know, Ashton, yeah, look, we took it to a show car level with all of those builds, but we build them, they've got a purpose. And the whole idea of Ashton and Christian building that truck was to get the fulfillment that you can only get out of doing a build yourself. Driving through that Mojave with the 3 trucks. Good little shakedown for the FJ49. It hasn't been on a big trip yet.
How good did it look?
And it just, that car is just, there isn't a scene that you can put that car into that it doesn't fit.
You couldn't keep the camera down.
Yeah.
It
was just-
doesn't take a bad photo.
Just amazing, like weaving through the Joshua trees and the elevation changes and the big plateaus, and it was just magic. Like, you know, for our first trip here in the United States with the entire family, the Mojave was, that was the right choice.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is pretty epic. This is bucket list shit.
This is really cool, and I don't think we've seen anything yet.
The black truck is it's part of the family. You know, that car it's our 4th child. It really is.
The memories that we've created in that car.
We have created so many family memories in that car. And now to see the kids taking control of that, you know, Christian and Mia, like cruising the United States in the black truck, you know, I'd consider that car as a big part of our brand, and it's a big part of what made Patriot campers. When it was originally built, there wasn't anything like that. But you know, seeing the kids kind of take over and the passing of the handing over of the torch.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
You know, it was just epic.
Aim for something. Don't. Get on there, Mick. Don't you dare. Get dad. Get dad. Don't. You are evil. Mia, don't you have a jacket on?
Our second destination, Big Bear.
Oh,
It was like driving through a
No.
postcard.
it 100%
That's what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
We just, we jagged the weather, you know. We had an extreme weather warning come in and we had to change plans at last minute, and we were watching the weather the night before we were heading up there, and it dumped like 2 feet of snow or something like that, and I don't know, it was like someone was watching over us that next morning, because when we woke up that next morning,
It was perfect.
it was just blue skies.
Perfect.
And it was gorgeous, and we drove up into that elevation, that 8,000 feet, and we hit the snow, and it was just...
It was all untouched. Like,
Yeah.
it was like no one had ever been there.
It was,
It had
eh?
that feeling.
It was like we were the first people to
Yeah.
ever take that trail. You know, obviously that's not the case, but it was just fresh powder, beautiful weather, blue skies.
Yeah.
You know, the 3 trucks, like just, you know, weaving around Big Bear in the snow. Mia. How was Mia?
Yeah, she was like a kid in a candy store. She
Like-
loved it.
Snow angels everywhere and throwing snowballs at
Putting
the
her
boys.
face in the snow.
It was that was, I could do that day after day after day after
Yeah.
day. That is, and that's the part of the United States that I love the most, is it's not, you can be on a different planet every single day here. That's an experience that I would highly recommend to anybody. You know, you get the opportunity to head out to Big Bear and do some wheeling up there in the snow, you won't
must.
regret it. Any caption necessary? Is there anything to say about that? Has Big Bear turned it on for us or what? I think some of the best bonding that this family has ever done was that day in Big Bear.
Yeah.
Like watching the kids work together. You know, I
And
tried to take a bit of a back seat that day.
They really do. All 3 of them, they work together so well, and you know, they respect each other. And I don't know, you see other kids and they don't get along or whatever. They all know what they need to do. It's just
you know, the winching, the recoveries,
Yeah.
you know, Mia on the radio, getting involved, you know, watching the boys teach Mia every day how to
Yeah.
set up and pack down that rooftop tent.
And
you know.
she's nailed it.
It was, yeah, she's nailed, but it was the little things with the 3 kids that I saw this trip. I think more importantly for me, watching those 3 bond
Yeah.
during specifically that day. You know, they've been like that the whole trip, but that day I really saw those 3 kids come together, and that's what these trips are all about, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Look at that one, look at that one.
Yeah.
There was a
That is very cool.
Do you want to get a photo with it?
I want to see it.
Do you want to have a quick
I want
look?
to see it.
I think she's got the same disease that the rest of the family's got. You're a car guy. What year is this one?
72.
72. Beautiful.
Loving it.
Mia's got the car bug. I know you've been talking about it for a while, but I didn't realise.
I love it. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed.
Mia's always wanted a baby blue Bronco, and coming around the corner, what could you imagine but like 18 to 20 Broncos came around the corner. That'd be cool. I'd roll with you.
Look at it. Look at it.
I'm looking at it.
I think what's the most amazing part about the career path that we chose and what we do for a living now is the ability to create a community, yeah? And we have created a global community of people that are so like-minded, they're so like us,
Yeah.
that they become more than friends instantly before you even spend time with them, they become family.
Yeah.
And you know who I'm referring to,
Yes.
yeah?
That's Brad and Marco. So,
Yeah.
you know, we were itching to meet up with these guys, and
And this wasn't planned before we come to the US. So once we went to SEMA and we started talking to the guys, they're like, there's no way you guys are going back to Australia without us taking you out for a couple of nights and show you our backyard.
yeah.
And it was just instant friendship
Oh.
as soon as we met up with these guys, hey?
Yeah, it was just like camping with our mates at home. Like,
Yep.
you know, there was nothing uncomfortable about it. Straight off the bat, it was
Yep.
just like being at home camping with your mates.
As you made it, the 6x6 made it all the way through with a trailer. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
So they started talking to us at SEMA about this national park they wanted to take us to, and I had a look at a couple of photos online. I didn't go too far into it, and I thought, yeah, it looks pretty, but you know, I think there's more iconic stuff that we can do in America. But once we got out here, wow.
Completely different to anything I've ever seen.
Like they took us to another planet again.
100%.
And we're still in the state of California.
And that they kept saying, you know, the look on our face and the comments that we were making, but I found it interesting, the look on their face. They've been here how many times?
They come here like on the
All
weekends.
the time.
Yeah.
And they're grinning from ear to ear, and they say every time it's different, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just, they're
But
so
they get the
lucky.
joy out of our reaction.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So their pride of their home state and their country, obviously, and sharing that with
Like what we do at
this
home.
this
Yeah.
Australian family, you know, you could see the reaction that they were having to our reaction, you know, which was absolutely amazing. And these guys are they're so knowledgeable, you know. They genuinely love what they do, and they've made a living out of overlanding and going touring, and they genuinely love their Patriot campers as well, which
Yeah.
instantly makes them family, you know. That was so much fun. I wish that trail was like 200 miles. I could do that all day.
Yeah, well, thankfully today it's short because we got to get back.
Yeah. Well, we gotta go sort the
Yeah,
car
but
out.
it is beautiful. It doesn't get old. It does not get old.
What was it like finally getting to cook a meal with Mark?
Oh,
You two look like you had so much fun.
we did have so much fun, and it's so much fun just to see the passion that he has in what he's creating. Like he kept saying last night, you know, the kitchen brings people together. We had a campfire. Where was everyone last night?
You guys did not
Around
leave
the
the kitchen.
We stayed in the kitchen
Yep.
all night, cooking, laughing, telling stories, and like I made a joke. Where does he fit his clothes in his
Yeah.
trailer? Like it's got everything. Just going through and seeing the way that he keeps everything, and just the passion in what he does. I could have stayed up all night with him.
And Brad actually said it to me last night. He's like, man, you got to watch when he serves the food, watch his face when he serves the food, because he is just looking for the reaction of the person who's eating that food. And that is just pure 100% passion. And I don't think that you could have two nicer guys on the trip along with you. They're just amazing people, amazing human beings. Dude, this is the best taco I've ever had in my life.
That's awesome. So what do you guys think? Birria tacos at camp.
Amazing. So good.
Amazing.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Maka. Low point of the trip for me is, I think that's pretty obvious if you've been watching the episodes, was the FJ letting go. Now, yeah, look, it's a bittersweet one, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not devastated about it because we got to achieve exactly what we wanted to achieve here in the United States. We got the car into SEMA. My boys got to open on the red carpet. They experienced the Mojave. They got to drive through snow in Big Bear, and they did get to experience Anza-Borrego. So it was pretty much the last day. If the car was going to let go, that was the time for it to do it. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
What obviously saddens me and breaks my heart is, once again, it's Ashton not having the opportunity to complete what he set out to complete from the start. And I know, look, the kid's devastated. He really is.
Seeing it get towed away.
Him riding in the Jeep yesterday, although that was fun, you know, he hasn't been the same since that happened.
Yeah, and he keeps making little comments.
He's making little comments and he's trying to, you know, make jokes about it. But that was genuinely heartbreaking for us. But what if? What if the car didn't make it here from the start?
Could have been
what
so
if it happened on day one? So look, it is what it is. It's a blown engine and a blown synchro and a gearbox. Like, that stuff can be repaired.
Yeah.
It's The support network that we have is, you know, sometimes I've really got to take a step back and think about what we're representing when we do trips like this.
Yeah, all the links that make everything work.
But, you know, it can't be more apparent than when things go wrong. And when that went wrong, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning in Australia.
It was, yeah.
And I flicked a text to the boys at GSL, to Luke and Scotty.
Expecting nothing back.
Expecting nothing back until, you know, they woke up. I got a phone call straight away. What's happened? These guys have literally been on standby. We've had issues with the car leading up to what happened. And I've been on the phone to those guys and they've been sending me texts, man, I don't care what time it is, we need to keep you guys on the road. So we've got all of these guys that are behind us. You know, Jack was just straight on to me. Steve's gone and got his passport renewed yesterday.
Ready to go.
Ready to go, like ready to get on a plane and come over here and, you know, to get us back on the road. You know, Brad and Marco, you know, they made a phone call on how do we get the car out. And Josh, one of their buddies, you know, he's like, man, I'm on my way. Like, went and picked up a trailer, 3-hour drive out here, pick up the FJ, 3-hour drive back to his shop, and then 3-hour drive back out here last night to come and have a beer with us last night. Yeah. You know, so the support network that we have now globally, you know, what we have behind us, the team that we have behind us.
Definitely couldn't do it alone.
We can't do it on our own, and it's, you know, you get to see us in front of the camera and having all of these adventures, but there's so many people behind the scenes that have made this dream a reality for us, and I think, I don't know how we can thank every single one of them.
Yeah.
Highlight of the trip, top moment.
I mean, there is so many. You know, I would break it down into touring and SEMA, but if I had to pick one, if I'm going back and thinking about this whole journey, it was opening the containers. It makes me sad now. Definitely.
Now you're making me cry.
I don't know, what happened?
I don't know, opening the containers, I didn't even think about that. That was hard.
Yeah, the boat was there, the containers were there. Until the doors of the containers cracked, it still wasn't real.
No.
Yeah,
no.
so that was the,
it didn't hit me when we opened the doors of the containers because I was just so focused on getting on the road and getting to SEMA. I didn't allow myself to have the time to, I kind of missed that moment, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
My brain was just thinking, we got a 9-hour drive down there.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, you're on the next step.
What do we need? What don't we have?
Yeah.
You know, what are all the things that could possibly go wrong between now and that 12-hour window that we had to get them into SEMA. And that's
We
all.
weren't there yet.
We weren't there
So,
yet.
yeah.
So it didn't hit me until we actually arrived in Las Vegas and hit the strip.
That was definitely, and I could tell that was more your moment.
Yeah. Once we hit the strip, it was like, no one can take this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this hard work that all of us have put in to this car and getting here has finally paid off.
That one is going straight to the pool room. Camera crew and all. Yeah, boys, we did it. We're here, we made it. Let's do this.
There you go.
But for me, I think another big high for me of the trip, the press conference at Toyota on the opening day of SEMA. When they brought the introduction of Patriot campers, you know, to the crowd.
Yeah.
Who we were, what we were doing here, the company from Australia, the 3 LandCruisers, the camper trailer. And I think that for me, that was a real pivotal moment on what we've achieved, you know? It's Patriot Campers is now coming up on its 10-year anniversary, and I think what we've achieved in 10 years, would you have ever thought, you remember those days sitting back in the Narang house designing the first Patriot camper?
It is, it's...
Or coming up with a name, and we built that first camper trailer, you know, for us. And it was only meant to be for us, and it was to make our life better with our family.
Yeah. It is, it's bizarre.
And look at where we are now.
I know.
You know?
Look at where we are now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. And I think in that moment, watching Toyota talk about Patriot campers on the Toyota booth, at the SEMA show, at the biggest platform in the world, automotive platform, it was just like, hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
What Patriot campers is now and what we've achieved over 10 years, you know? I think we've said this now many, many times in our career at Patriot Campers. Where do we go from here? How do we top this? What's next for the brand? You know? But genuinely, after this trip, what's next?
I don't know. I'd say like seeing that Patriot yesterday, driving through the canyon. So we just saw, you know, some random people with the Patriot as we're driving along with the Patriot. I think where to from now is let's get bigger, better here. Let's let more people in America love what we do like they do in Australia. Like overlanding is getting bigger here. I think, you know, I would really love to get the passion here like we do in Australia.
Let's show America what Patriot life is all about.
Yeah.